They represent something.
Right, they represent aspects of self, but they have the masculine and they have the feminine. Every single god in the Hindu pantheon has a consort. Shiva has Parvati. This is how they show the masculine and the feminine. The feminine part of the body is left. The masculine part of the body is right. So we're talking about the right and left part of the chakra. So when something is on the left side, that left polarity, it tends to be related to mother, woman, feminine, the yin. And when something is on the right, it tends to be more of the yang, more of the masculine, more of the doing. Bless you. Remember I told you the other day with the knees? Your right knee, you want what? To do something, but you can't. You want to act. Right side, but you can't. And the left, you're forced to do it. Yin, you don't want to. You want to be calm.
My whole right side.
But your whole right side hurts?
I have a bend a hard head, a bad ankle, knee, and back.
Ankle, knee, and back. You've got major first chakra issues there, and you have third chakra issues. What part of your back? Lower, middle, or upper?
My lower and my middle, straight down my spine.
Your lower?
Lower, and then straight down my spine.
Okay, but this part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This area of the back is third chakra. The chakras go up and down the system. So whether it's on the back or the front, it's the same.
Yeah, I got stomach issues too.
Okay? So third chakra, we'll get to in a minute because it's super, 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 super important, is self-worth. But I want someone to relate it, her third chakra with her first chakra. What is her self-worth or validation issue with her first chakra? What could it be? What could this client be suffering from at a self-worth third chakra issue? If her knees and her ankles?
My ankle, knee, back, and stomach started in 6th grade.
Ankle and knees are hurting.
Safety and security, right?
She's not moving.
Maybe she wants to move faster. She's not moving fast enough. Ankles have to do with the direction we take. I now have to make a decision and I don't know which way to go. So you could start piecing it together. Third chakra is always self-worth. It's your power. It is your city of jewels. That is why I've put Manipura there. If nothing else, I'm going to explain to you why the third chakra is the most important chakra and why everybody has back pain and gut pain and everyone's like this or everyone's like this and everyone's like this. Super important. And guess what color it is?
Yellow.
And what in our universe, in our galaxy, in our sky, is this color? Dun, da, da, da. And what is on the board? That is this color. Apollo. And what is Apollo? Our true self. So third chakra is self-worth issues. You don't know who the fuck you are. You're confused as fuck. Someone took your power. You gave your power away. You're too much of a servant. You're too servitude and not enough servant. It all reflects here. You go right to a third chakra question, the session will unfold itself. You ain't got to do nothing. It is textbook. And what can you guys correlate that I said to you last class about something that lives here that we as were taught that lived there?
Oh,
God is where?
everywhere else.
Everywhere else. But really, this, and it's our gut, and it's our jelly bean, because I'll call mine my jumping jelly bean, or it's my intuition. Yeah, when I feel the jelly bean, I'm like, whoop. Yesterday, my daughter graduated high school, so I took her out to eat. And we were talking, my daughter knows all this and lives by all this, and she's mini-me. And she starts saying, she goes, Mom, she took that Florida virtual school, and she had her last exam with the professor. And they're called DBAs. And she's like, my gut told me to study this piece. It was an economics class. And she didn't know shit about economics. She goes, my gut told me to look at that and review. And the guy asked her questions on that specific thing. And then, they ask you a few questions, you hang up, and that's it. It's like the final exam to make sure you did the class and all of that. And I said to her, Sophia, I love, 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 love that you said my gut. Because this is one of the things I've discovered in my existential crisis recently. And I'm still trying to figure this out about myself. It's, I guess, no shock that I'm wearing purple, one of the higher chakras, okay? Which was not intentional. I just took all my shoes to the shoe repair yesterday, and these are the only shoes that I have. And I like to wear dress and heels when I teach, and these are my only heels. Every single one of my shoes are destroyed, and I dropped them off at the shoe repair. So I needed something to match gray, okay? So one of the things is, and I told you guys, I grew up in this cult. And the woman was always talking about how the spirit, her spirit guide, and her were one. But she used it to manipulate. So 0 to 100, okay? And I'm named after that spirit. So when I left that place, and I start my practice, which is like mimicking in a way, mirroring a lot of what she would do, but healthily, I knock on something. I didn't know this until just recently. I would say to clients, which is not untrue, but my spirit guides, or my guides, or my guides, or my guides. And I was always externalizing as if there was this other entity. Because I did not want to be her in any way. And I was so traumatized that she would hurt people by saying, me and the spirit are one, me and the spirit are one. And she would use and manipulate. That's what a lot of these cult leaders do. And they pretend that they have these special powers and all this stuff. So I realized that what I was doing was in part externalizing my power, but also trying to not take responsibility because I didn't want to end up like her. And so I just started recording season 7 of my podcast, and the first episode of the season is this huge apology to anyone that I ever counseled, to anyone that ever heard my podcast, that anyone that ever read something that I wrote, that ever felt that I had perhaps some power. Like, I don't think I did that. I really don't. But if I did, if someone ever left with that, I had to take that responsibility. So when I hear my daughter say my gut, where normally she will say gut or spirit guides, because that's the language we use, I was so happy. And I said this to her, and she goes, Mom, of course it's my gut, it's my guides, it's all in me. Mom, it's a third chakra. I'm giving, the fucking lecture. And I'm like, okay, I know. She goes, Mom, you told me well. But because I'm hyper-analyzing my life, I'm really like scrutinizing myself under a microscope. Like, what did I do? What harm could I have done that in anything? So I will call, when I get a thing, I'll be like, oh, my jelly bean, like it'll be my gut. And if you know anatomy, which I do not know, but I know this, When the baby is born, being formed, the vagus nerve is first developed, right? And it creates the spine and then the brain. So when people say the gut is the second brain, it's actually the first brain. It's your gut. You listen to your gut and you pass your fucking high school class. You listen to your gut and then you don't date the wrong guy. You listen to your gut and shit works out better. No one has any fucking special power. Everybody has a Manipura chakra. Everybody has a jelly bean. Everybody has a God within. It's called your fucking power. It's your true self or your higher self. That's it. You call it intuition. Call it fucking whatever the hell you want. But don't let anyone tell you that theirs is stronger than yours. Because it's bullshit. It might sound a little different, and it might speak a little different. Mine curses a lot, just saying. Sorry. Because you're kind of new, so I don't know if you know that I curse like every second word. Okay. I saw we were getting a new student. I swear the first thought was, oh shit, what if the person doesn't like cursing? Like, this is the shit I think of when I finished. So I hope the material makes up for it, right? So this is super, super important. When you are having gut issues, any sort of gastric stuff, it is related to your power. So let's break it down from an anatomical moment. What is the function of the stomach or the gastric juices?
Break
To break down what?
break down the process of any type of food or.
Okay, and what is the food made of?
Nutrients.
Which are?
Solids.
There's 3 major macronutrients.
Protein,
Carbohydrates.
carbohydrates and fats.
Fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. The purpose of the gastric juice is to discriminate, separate the useful nutrients and the not so useful nutrients. Do you think that in your life there's shit you need to discriminate about the people and the things that you don't need to be with and those that you do? If your gut is telling you that guy's a loser, fucking run. Check in with your first chakra and say, get the hell out of here, people. Don't fucking second guess yourself or use your second chakra because you're fucking horny. Get the hell out. Listen. But we don't. And if the gastric juices that reside in the 3rd chakra, Trisha, say to you, discriminate, another word, discern, this is a major, major, major theme in yoga philosophy. Discrimination and discernment. There is a beautiful myth. I posted it on my Facebook a long time ago. You could Google it. There's a little video. If I remember or someone texts me or if I feel like it, I'll send it to you guys. But if not, go to my Facebook page. It's there. It's called The Myth. It's a video. It's beautiful. Of Echo and Psyche. And one of her jobs, because they're always given fucking jobs to do in these myths, because everything's work, right? Because we don't come here to just live a lax life, is to discriminate and pull apart the rice, the grain. If you cannot discern and discriminate what is good for you, who is good for you, what's important, you're fucked. And your gut tells you. And it's in you. It's your power source. It's your sun. One day I was going to give a reading, and my guidance, which is, I've used all these words like my daughter says, but I really am trying to just go back to like intuition or guidance or jelly beans, so it's more contained. My guidance indicates go and lay out in the grass. And I fight with my guidance because I do. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? I got a fucking client. It's hot as shit outside. What am I gonna go lay out in the fucking grass? The lady's about to pull up to the house. So, yeah. So I do. And what I was getting was sourced from the sun. And her whole issue, she came for chakra healing, was third chakra. So I literally borrowed energy from the sun because it's not me. You're not doing shit. You're not doing shit ever. No one here is a healer. You're not fucking healing anyone. You heal yourself. You don't fucking heal anyone. People do their own work. Language. So I borrowed the sun to, I'm just a vessel, a vehicle, that's all we are for anything. Even for your children, for the mothers in the room. You ain't shit. You're a body and you pop them out. And they have their own little bag of crap. Do not think that you come to save your fucking kid. Move the hell on. You got plenty of your own shit to take care of. But as mothers and fathers, we like to hide behind our children so we don't look at our shit. And that's a whole other type of illness. That's when you see a lot of behavioral stuff in children. And what did I tell you the child comes to do?
Please touch the parents' needs.
Yes, but what did I tell you about repressed things in the parent?
The moment of conception.
Yes, at the moment of conception,
Well, they were wanting that moment.
whatever their shit was going on, but if there was something unsolved, unresolved, the child comes to reflect all your unresolved shit. So focus on your kid. No. Focus on you, and you help him and yourself. But a lot of us love to hide behind our kids because it's easier. That is also Mercury, because that's a mask. Mercury is a mask. It masks your light. And your mask can be your child, your mask can be your job, your mask can be your lover, your mask can be your illness, your mask can be your money, your mask can be your car, your mask can be your auntie. It could be anything. Remove it, look in the mirror, and find your true self, your true light, your true shit, and then you won't have third chakra issues. And then your back pain will go away. Okay? But most people have gastric stuff. And so one of my, I don't know, part of my, what I consider to be my sort of vocation is to help people listen to their gut. That is one of the major things I do, is help people listen to their own gut. Intuitive life coaching. So that you can listen to your own intuition. Not mine, yours. So when a client sits in the chair, you know what to ask. Not because you're here, although this helps, of course, because of here. So that's part of what I consider to be my vocation, is if I can help you listen to your gut stronger, I don't become that woman at all. I encourage you to listen to your own guidance, and then we pay it forward, and then we can be healthier. And then we can all have our God within, strengthened third chakra, shine like a diamond, like the song says, everyone's shining. There's this beautiful quote, Daniela, look that up. It's a famous quote, Marianne Williamson. It'll be the big, long one that comes up. Marianne Williamson wrote a book called Return to Love. I think that the original person who wrote this quote was Nelson Mandela. I know that there's been some...
The one that's our deepest fear?
Yes.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate.
I'm blunt. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. But I want to find the part that I really...
Oh, you want the whole quote? No, right, say it.
Yeah, there's a part. Here it is. Hold on. Here it says, we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? This is the two sentences. You are a child of God. That you could take or leave. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. And it goes on. We are meant to shine. We are not meant to shrink. Shine, not shrink. Service versus servitude. If it is stealing your power or taking someone else's power, what is that my definition of? If it's taking your power or taking someone else's power, it is my definition of selfish. If it is giving power to others or to yourself or allowing you to shine, that is the definition of what? Self. We want to be self, not selfish. Most people shrink because they think it's selfishness, selflessness. Bullshit. It's servitude. And you're doing it because you feel like it. You are not a victim. But you're allowed to be a victim for a few days if you feel like it. It's okay. Just a little bit. Okay, now we have discussed the lower chakras. First of all, do you understand the correlation between the physical and the emotional traumas that are stored in the energy body? I want to talk about two things before we do 4, 5, 6, and 7, because the body is split up here. This is the lower chakras, and these are the upper chakras. Can anyone, using critical thinking, tell me what else I have put on the board in the past few weeks that is divided at the lower and the upper?
Diaphragm.
No, the human and the beast, the animal.
The chiron, yes! So, the lower nature and the higher nature. What are centaurs?
How about you?
Centaurs are half animal, the beast, and half human. Why was Chiron so special? Anyone remember my story?
The wound, right?
But what was he given the job of doing?
Oh, knowledge? Teaching?
Of teaching the God's children. Because he was more elevated. All the other centaurs were rapists and alcoholics. So there's a part of us that is a lower nature. We're rapists and we're alcoholics. And we're cavemen, and we're beasts. That's why when you have sex, you look like an animal. It feels great, but you're fucking an animal. If you looked at ducks, if you looked at anything, you're an animal. It is okay. You're supposed to. It's second chakra. If you're not, go out and get laid today. Necessary. Necessary, people. This bullshit of, oh, I'm holier than thou, lie. You are a freaking animal with lower chakras that need to be serviced. You're first, you're second, and you're third. And if you're not, you're living in your higher centers, and you're fucking dissociated out of your body. And you're floating, and you're a bunch of bullshit. I was that person. I was that person. So I know it well. Okay? That's the crazies. Oh, I float. Oh, I'm all loved. Oh, fucking bullshit. No, you're not. It's a bunch of bullshit. You saw someone, you judged them, you thought they shouldn't be wearing that. You fucking looked at that guy and said, damn, I want some of that. Please, people. Come on now. That's the lower nature. This correlates with these three chakras. People that tend to have lower chakra issues tend to have problems with their animal nature. They don't want to be beasts. They don't want to be lie, cheat, and steal. They want to be holier than fucking thou. Me! Lie! So you get an illness to bring you into what? Your fucking body. Into the present moment. Into la carne. Okay? Carne. Meat. Beef. I was watching a little clip of Philadelphia, the movie with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington. I was the guy who comes to set up my TV in my new place, and all of a sudden the movie Philadelphia shows up. So he goes to the kitchen, he's talking to his wife, and she's making dinner, and she hands him one of those big turkey legs like that you get at Disney World. And I was like, okay. And he was talking, and I didn't remember this scene of the movie, and I really didn't like the movie all that much. I liked the book better, and plus it was so many years ago. But what was so interesting about that scene was that he was talking bad about homosexuals. He was like, ew, look. It was such a real scene. It was such a real scene. And I was like, wow, look what just showed up on my TV. It was fucking real. That's my message. Be fucking real. Be here. Be in this world. Over and over and over again. No matter what story, like hers, was so funny because she was so Virgo over and over, and Jonathan was so Taurus over and over. Watch the video. It's so funny. And there are 3 little dice that they picked. The Pisces is, again, the whole, be in the heavens with the cosmic mother or father. No, bitch. Here, now. Be here now. Great book by Ram Dass. Be the fuck here now. Okay? So, when we have lower chakra issues, we tend to have a problem with our animal nature. And Lord knows I had first chakra issues, third chakra issues, second chakra issues, you name it, I had it. Not necessarily so visible, that's where we ask questions and we listen for threads. But if you understand that the needs are linked to the first 4 chakras, in this order, this is my theory, just saying. Security, safety, survival. There's something in your subconscious story. You ask about conception and pregnancy, or you ask about 0 to 7, or you ask about the birth. James, did you have your umbilical cord wrapped around your neck? Did you're pregnant? You did? Okay, Aries, she's going to have first chakra stuff. She already has it, you see, with the ankle and the feet. And at birth, remember, the birthing process, trauma. If you're into that, look up Stanislav Grof. He has a whole school called transpersonal psychology that talks about that. The birthing experience is a traumatic experience. And what happens during your birth, my theory, is how you're going to transition into your next stages in life. So if you have your umbilical cord wrapped around and you are possibly about to graduate and possibly don't know what is next, you are going to umbilical cord your ass because you need to mirror that. But because you're taking my class and because you know more, now you can sit and say, wait a minute, I don't have to, I can do it what? Hashtag do it The higher nature, the higher chakras are related to more of the spirit or the compassion or the